Hello and welcome. We've got a fun one here. Another stack of packs from the 1991 Yo MTV Raps Music Card series. So we're going to grab 9, 3, 6, that's 10. So we're going to grab 9. We're going to check out, there's an amazing array of performers, musicians, celebrities, artists in here. We're going to check out some of those, talk a little bit about values, and look for a potential insert card that is a hologram. So a lot of fun to find things out. Over here is our podium. The best card we find will go in there until there is only one remaining at the end, and that will be the winner of the day, just to give it a little good time as we go. So with that, let's open up the first and see what this series is all about. So here we have a scratcher for instant win, and moving down, the first card is Rappin' is Fundamental. I think a play on the reading is fundamental from the time. Here we have Queen Latifah. That's a great image there. Let's check out. We'll put that one into a sleeve. And the trick is there are so many celebrities, like, you're not exactly sure which one should we keep. So, but we'll put her on the podium. An incredible performer, definitely deserving of it. And we keep rolling. Next up is T Money. We got the Afros and Big Daddy Kane. Heavy D and the Boys. And this one may have some value of around $36 or so in a PSA 10. So we will put that into a sleeve as well. And there we go. And we've got Run DMC. Check that out. Let's see what the front is. Very cool there. Public Enemy. And Third Base. MC Hammer. Timeless with Hammer. And the next pack is up on deck. Whoa, they're jumping out. They're ready, looking to perform. First up is going to be Cool Mo D. Nikki D. So we got D right next to D. Main Source. Another Main Source, back-to-back Main Sources. Fab Five Freddy. We got Belle Biv DeVoe. And this may have some value at around $42 in a PSA 10. So we'll sleeve that one up. And again, it's really hard to get 10s. For those of you who aren't familiar, I can give a very short summary of the grading process. So there are 3, or about 4, but about 3 now-ish, large grading companies. And they're essentially third parties that will take a card and assign it a numerical grade from 1 to 10. That's basically 1 is very poor condition, 10 is very good condition. And based on that, they will enclose it in a little capsule, give it a number, and put it on a registry online. And so by doing that, it kind of creates a unique, card that is trackable, and you can kind of buy it and sell it knowing that it's authentic. And so that's great because you can get kind of a central way to verify things and make it easier to know that what you're buying is what it is. And however, the downside could be to get, like, for example, say something grades as a 10 and, it's in perfect condition. Maybe as a 10, it's worth just, I'll say, $100, you know, though if it is not absolutely perfect, and maybe it grades as a 9, it may be worth, $12, or $8. And so there's a huge variation in terms of price between a perfect 10 and a 9 and anything lower. And so what makes it tricky is that 10s are really hard to get because cards have to be perfect. So say, for example, I'll try to find one that has like a little bit of anything on it. Like usually you look at the edges, if there's any whitening on the edges, are the corners perfectly sharp, or is one just slightly dented? Is the printing perfect? Is the surface smooth and even? And so more often than not, when cards come out of a package, they are not perfect. Even if you just took it out of a pack brand new, like it's been out for 2 seconds. So many cards, most will not get a 10. And so instead they'll get, a 9 or less, which could take, hey, a card that's worth 100, now it's worth, 8, like 0.8. So that's the big difference. And important to that is there's cost to grading, anywhere from $20 to $30, depending on a bunch of things, and maybe more if the card is more valuable. And you don't know what it's going to grade at until you send it in. So essentially, you're going to pay to have something that may come back worth less than what you paid for it to get graded. And so that makes it really tricky to get a 10, because most things are not a 10. And even if they look really, really, really good, the grading companies look at them with magnification and under different lights. And it has to be essentially like a perfect card to get graded well. So all that to say, if we mention here, hey, a card is worth, maybe $30, maybe it's worth $100 in a PSA 10, then chances are that's in the perfect best case scenario, in which very many cases it will not be, and that makes the cards almost worthless, or maybe $1 or so. And I'll show you here as an example, right? So this card, we just pulled it out, and there's a little white dot up here. See a tiny little white dot? Now, that could be just card dust and it come off, but in a lot of cases, it was the printing process, and maybe the ink didn't perfectly go. There's another dot. And so those dots would take, if this card was otherwise perfect, from a 10 right down to a 9, or maybe an 8. And you see here on the left side, there's a little bit of whitening on the edges from how it was cut. So that means it's not going to very likely not be rated a 10. And then so on and so forth. There's edges, there's centering, how well the card is centered, and other things that they look at. So all that to say, I guess a little lesson too, or knowledge as we're going through this, that, just because something comes out and has the potential to be something, in most cases, it's not going to be worth that. And if it is, it's going to take time and money to get it graded and verified, and then hope it comes back, what you'd like it to be. So when we talk about grading, important to keep that in mind. That way it doesn't sound like magical things where, hey, you buy a box of cards for, $30, but inside you get, 12 cards worth $100 each. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it, because it would be a literal gold mine. But here we're just looking primarily for fun, and if something is, potentially has value, we'll kind of look at that as well. But mostly we're finding cards that we like, tucking them into sleeves, and just keeping them in the best shape we can, just because they're pretty cool cards with pretty cool people. And underlying all of this, first and foremost, is that they're people on the cards, whether they're sports cards or these music cards. you know, way beyond the value and the grading and blah, blah, blah. It's just cool people that are doing things to be on the card. And we get to learn about them and the history and the surprise of who's going to come out in the pack, who are we going to look at next. That's really a lot of the fun of the collecting. So kind of dove deep there, but I think that's, for those of you who aren't familiar with the grading process, that's a little look into it. For those of you that are, you probably knew all of that and may have more to add or experiences to share. So by all means do. And we'll kick back now into the cards and the names and check out a little more of this set. And with that, we have Fab Five Freddy and Eric B. and Rakim, De La Soul, 3 Times Dope, Digital Underground. That's a cool looking one. Let's put that into a sleeve. And there we go. And next up, we have none other than MC Hammer. Awesome. All right, we are cruising through. We are now at the halfway mark. We have pack number 5 of 9. And I guess we could start to speed it up a little bit since we know kind of what we're looking at and what the set is like. So here we got Def Jeff. Let me see if I can get the focusing right on these just so you could check them out. There we go. The LA Posse. KMD. It's a pretty cool backdrop on that too. If you see the colors and then how it kind of plays off the colors in their clothing and the texture. I like that. And we got Leaders of the New School, Fab Five Freddy. And what I like about this set is they have a few different cards of each artist. So you get different pictures, different scenes. Eric B. and Rakim. Try to get this centered for you. Young Black Teenagers. 3 Times Dope. Young MC. And we got MC Hammer. And along we go. What will arrive next? I think they come this way. There we go. Ed OG and the Bulldogs. There's a group. We got Brand Nubian. And Ed OG and the Bulldogs again. Different card. Kid Capri. KMD. Fab Five Freddy. That's a great looking shot. We got Eric B. and Rakim. Tone Loc. Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd. And Ted Dem. Cool. On we go to the next one. Tribe Called Quest. It's pretty neat. And to just think how some of these, the impact these artists had, not only on just their own careers, but on the people around them, like the other musicians, other artists, and even to more, the modern day, where you see, Dr. Dre connected then to Eminem, to 50 Cent, and a lot of inspirations and similar connections in the early 90s artists as well. Here we've got Daddy-O and another Daddy-O. Now see, these are two different cards, but still same artist and right back to back. Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. And Andre, or Young MC. Tone Loc. Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. Stetsasonic. It's a big crew. And Public Enemy. Wow, look at that. That's a group. All right, we are in the final stretch. We have 2 packs to go. What is inside? We will soon know. We got Third Base, Brand Nubian, Dr. Dre and Ed Lover, another Dr. Dre and Ed Lover, Boogie Down Productions, and of course KRS-One, Tone Loc, Belle Biv DeVoe, that's cool, Young MC, Public Enemy, and LL Cool J. Nice. And that brings us to the last pack of the stack. Let's see who will join our performance of the day. We got Slick Rick, the Beastie Boys. It's a cool one out. Is that Central Park? I don't know. But definitely pretty neat. And I think the Beastie Boys, for now, Queen Latifah's been on podium for a while. Let's give the Beastie Boys a chance. And it's the last pack, but they deserve some stage time. And we got BWP. Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. Paris. Tone Loc. Belle Biv DeVoe. BBD. We got Eric B. and Rakim. Public Enemy. And this is a value of around $30 or so. But this is a good example too. If you look up here, see that corner? Let me see if I can make this the focus. See, there's white around the edge and that corner is just a little bit dinged, just tiny. That would take it way down from a 10 to be not worth very much at all. And that's why a lot of cards that people have, in the cardboard boxes they've had for decades, and but you moved them around. If you have all the cards laying in a box and they shift once or twice when you're moving them, or they fell off a shelf, usually those corners are going to get dinged first, and then poof, there goes a lot of what they may have been worth. So that's why a lot of older cards, even though people have a lot, may not even have a whole lot of value. And we got an LL Cool J as our last card. That's just a cool looking one, and I'm going to try to keep it looking good. Toss that into a sleeve, and what a crew. I mean, one after another after another. We're looking at literally superstars, some that are still superstars today. So let's see who our performance is going to have. First and foremost, we have the Beastie Boys. And let's run through just a couple of these, because what a show if this was a real concert. LL Cool J. We have Public Enemy, Queen Latifah, Tribe Called Quest, KMD, Digital Underground, MC Hammer, LL Cool J, Vanilla Ice, Run DMC, Belle Biv DeVoe, and Heavy D and the Boys. So there we go. A pretty amazing lineup. If this were to be going off right now, maybe we can make it happen. Who knows? But for today, really fun opening these cards. I hope you had some fun and hope you learned something. And there you have it. Until next time.